Hi everyone, this is going to be the last lesson of the year. Just a quick Unit 5 review. So hopefully you've maybe given this a try, or if you haven't given it a try, that you can work through it with me now, as the Unit 5 test or assignment will look very similar to this. And it's just reviewing the concepts that we've done in Unit 5. Okay, so the first question says, write the equation in the form x minus h squared plus k. Sorry, there should be an a there as well. So because we know that in this vertex form that we've discovered that there is an a that we've got to consider. So we're going to use the fact that we've got they've told us how the parabola is being moved, and we can use that to get our A, our H, and our K. We've learned about those, what they each mean. The H and the K obviously is the vertex, and the A is the compression or stretching of it. Okay, so for the first one, it says it's translated 3 units down and 2 units to the right. So basically, the 3 units down is all about the K, and so that we know that this one is going to be minus 3. Because remember, in the up and down motion, you don't have to change the sign. It's in the direction that it feels like it should be going. Okay, and then 2 units to the right, that is where we have to do x minus 2 squared minus 3. Here we go, minus 3. So there's no a in this case. It doesn't talk about a stretch or a compression. So it's just going to be x minus 2 squared minus 3. So again, the minus 3 means the 3 units down, and the minus 2 means 2 units to the right. And remember, you kind of say to yourself, well, wait, shouldn't it be plus 2? But remember that when it's in the brackets, we change the sign. Okay, for the other one, it said it's compressed. It's vertically compressed by a factor of a half. So that means that our A is a half, so 1/2, and translates 5 units down. So in this case, there's no h, so it's just 1/2 x squared. We don't have to worry about putting something in the brackets with the x. And then 5 units down means minus 5. Okay, so that's just using our knowledge of h, k, and a. Now this one says, describe the sequence of transformations in the proper order that you would apply to the graph y equals x squared. Okay, so basically what we have to describe is what each of these numbers will do to the graph. And the first one you apply is always the a. So here we go. Let's get started. So I've got to talk about the number, the -4. So 1, I would say the parabola is vertically stretched by a factor of 4. So it's going to be thinner. It's vertically stretched. And that's the key word here, is that when that number is greater than 1, it's stretched by a factor of 4, vertically stretched by a factor of 4, so 4 times the stretch, and because of the negative, it's reflected over the x-axis. It's reflected over the x-axis. That's what the negative does. Okay. Now let's do the second thing, and I'm going to try a little bit smaller here, the +2. And so what I would say is the parabola is shifted or translated. It's shifted 2 units left. Okay, 2 units left. Remember, think opposite. And then finally, number 3, that -8. The parabola is shifted 8 units down. Okay, so basically there we go. Those are the transformations that happen. Okay, let's do the next one here. So this one, the 1/3, the first thing I would say is the parabola. The parabola is vertically compressed. It's vertically compressed by a factor of 1/2. By a factor of 1/2. So remember the word compressed. Remember when it's between, oh, sorry, it's 1/3, my apologies. By a third. Okay, so remember that when you're doing these, if it's between 0 and 1, it means it's compressed. And I don't have to worry about a reflection because there's no negative. And then the only other number I have to worry about here is that -2. And so I would say the parabola is shifted or translated 2 units to, oops, to it shifted at 2 units to the right. Okay, we think the opposite. Okay, beautiful. Number 3, it says describe the transformations that were applied to the following graphs. Okay, so notice that the black line here indicates the y = x². So we're kind of saying to ourselves, well, in this case, notice that there's been no vertical stretch or compression because the bread and butter one goes over 1, up 1, over 2, up 4. And I noticed that with my red one, it's still over 1, up 1, over 2, up 4. So I don't have to worry about the A. So there's no A. But I can see that this one is shifted. The vertex has gone 1, 2 down. So that'll be -2. And then look at this. It's moved 1, 2, 3, 4. Just let me double check. It looks like it's 4. So it's x -4 squared. Y is equal to x -4 squared minus 2. The -2 counts for the shift of 2 down, and the -4 is the shift of 4 to the right. Remember, it's in the brackets, so we go opposite. It's, you feel like it should be going positive to the right there, but we switch the sign. Okay, this one over here doesn't look like it's shifted at all, but it looks like there's a different A. So watch this. It's been stretched, and so I know that my A is going to be greater than 1. There's no negative because it hasn't been reflected. But look at the bread and butter one. Over 1, up 1, over 2, up 4. Well, the red one, look at this. It's over 1, up 3. And then over 2, oh, and it doesn't even have it on there, but it's gone. So look at this. It's y is equal to 3x squared. And that's because it's been, there it is. It's been, that 1 has been multiplied by 3. Okay. So I would just write here, it says describe it, and then write the equation. So I would say for this one, it's a vertical stretch by a factor of 3 by a factor of 3. And for the other one, I would say it is shifted. It's shifted 2 units down. Oh, come on. 2 units down and 4 units right. Okay. All right, next page. Here we go. So the next page is we're going to do some graphing. Okay. And remember with this one is that, look at this. They've graphed y = x squared. Well, I'm going to put my points for y = x squared. And these are the bread and butter points. And they go like this. -2, 4, -1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, and 2, and 4. So now what I'm going to do is I'm gradually going to modify those points. Okay, so let's do the first one, which let's incorporate the a, which is 3. So let's go y is equal to 3x squared. So actually here, I'm going to change my color just so that you can see this as it happens. So here we go, y is equal to 3x squared. So the 3 changes your y values. Remember that the a and the k change the y's. The h changes the x. So look at this. I know that this 3 isn't going to affect my x's, so I'm going to keep them all the same. All right, so they all stay the same. And now look at this. All I got to do is multiply each of my y's by 3. So 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 4 is 12. So those are the new points after incorporating an a of 3. Now let's plot them so I can just show you. So it's negative 1, 3, so it's going to be up here, and 1 and 3. And then negative 2 and 12, unfortunately, is up here somewhere, and negative 2 and 12, or 2 and 12 is up there. So there it is. There is the first, that's the A. Okay, so now though, now we've got to incorporate this plus 4. So y is equal to 3x squared plus 4. Remember, that's a k. It changes the y as well. So look at this. All my x's stay the same. The a and the k only change your y values. So I've got to add 4 to each of those. So 12 plus 4 is 16. 3 plus 4 is 7. 0 plus 4 is 4. 3 plus 4 is 7. 12 plus 4 is 16. So my new points are negative 2, 16. Now that's not going to fit on here, but look, negative 1, 7 will, and it's going to be right there, and 0 and 4 will work, and 1 and 7, and that's all I'm going to be able to fit on there. But look what's happened. I've taken the red one and I've shifted it up by 4 units. And that's what the k of 4 will do. Okay, so it's just the idea of using these other numbers to show me that you know how to move the parabola around. It says state the vertex and axis of symmetry. Remember, the vertex is h and k, and so in this case there is no h, so the vertex is 0, 4, and the axis of symmetry is just, for the axis of symmetry, it's x equal to 0. It's just that vertical line, and because we don't have it's always the x value of the vertex, and because that's 0, it's just x equal to 0. Okay, let's try another one. So here we go. Let's put our bread and butter points in. Negative 2, 4, negative 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 4. So they correspond to this black parabola on here, 1, 1, 2, 4, etc. Okay, so now what we're going to do is incorporate all of these. Now look at this. Let's start by incorporating the a. So y is equal to negative 1x squared. I'm just going to, or sorry, negative 1/2. All I want to do is incorporate that negative 1/2. Now, remember that it only changes your y's. So look at this. I'm going to keep all my x's the same. And I've already got an idea of what this is going to do. It's going to reflect it and compress it. Okay, so here we go. So now I'm going to do negative 1/2 times 4. Well, that's negative 2. Negative 1/2 times 1 is negative 1/2. Negative 1/2 times 0, it's still 0. Negative 1/2 times 1 is negative 1/2. And negative 1/2 times 4 is negative 2. Okay, let me show you on here. So basically, it's been flipped. So now I know at negative 2, it's negative 2. At -1, it's -0.5. At 1, it's 0.5. Sorry, -0.5. And at 2, it's -2. So it's a bit wider. Looks like that. It's wider than my bread and butter one. And it's flipped over. I didn't do a very good job of that. I find it hard with this, this 10, something like that. Okay. So there you go. That's the y is -1/2 x squared. All right, well, let's do the next one. Let's incorporate the 2. So watch this. Y is equal to -1/2 x plus 2 squared. Now, because it's in the brackets, it changes my x values, and you've got to do the opposite. So you're not going to add 2 to each of your x's, you're going to subtract 2. So look at this, -2 minus another 2 is -4. The h changes the x's, the y's stay the same. In fact, I'll just write all my y's. -1/2 and -2. So here we go. So -1 minus another 2 is -3. 0 minus 2 is -2. 1 minus 2 is -1, and 2 minus 2 is 0. So here are our new points, and this should have shifted it 2 units to the left. So let's try this. So watch this. It's -4, -2. So -4, -2. Do you see how that point right there has shifted 2 to the left? And look at this one. So it's -3, -1/2. So this one, -3. Wait, I think I might have did this wrong. 1, 2, 3. Oh, 4. No, that's good. -4, good. -2. -3, -1/2 goes to right there. And then -2, 0 is right here, here, and then 0, -2 is there. So there you go. It's shifted the whole parabola 2 units to the left. And then finally, we'll do this one. We'll incorporate the whole thing, -1/2 x plus 2 squared. Oops. X plus 2 squared plus 3. So again, it changes the y. So look at this. All of those. Remember, they're cumulative changes. So whatever you've changed in the previous step, you keep it. So we changed the x, so we keep all those. And then we add 3. So -2 plus 3. We don't do the opposite because it's outside the brackets. So -2 plus 3 is 1. -1/2 plus 3 is 2.5. 0 plus 3 is 3. -1/2 plus 3 is 2.5. And -2 plus 3 is 1. So all this did was shift the parabola up. So we picture the green one moving up by 3. And sure enough, when I plot those points, -2, it's now up here. There's the vertex here. And if I go with my green one here, there you go. I know I didn't put the 1/2 points in there, but you guys get the idea, is that it just is moving. There it is. So your final graph, this one, is y is equal to -1/2 x plus 2 squared plus 3. So there you go. That's how you incorporate all those changes to the graph. Okay, last page now. Okay, the last thing that we covered in Unit 5 was using the quadratic formula and also using something called the discriminant. So that's what this page practices. So it says solve using the quadratic formula. So basically, when it says solve, it means find the x-intercepts. Really, just be aware of that. It's you know, you're trying to find the x-intercepts. Now, in the last unit, you would have factored that. You would have used your X box and factored it, but at the beginning of this unit, we learned that there's always a way of doing it using the quadratic formula. And the quadratic formula is x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. Okay, so that's what we're going to use in both of these cases. So for the first one, I can see that my a, and that's what goes with your x squared term, is 1. My b, which is what goes with my x term, is 9. And my c is 20. It's the constant. Over on this one, I'll just get it going. My a is 2. There it is. It's with the x squared term. My b is 5. And my c is negative 14. All right, let's give it a shot then. So we're going to calculate our x-intercepts. So x is equal to negative b, so negative 9, plus or minus the square root of 9 squared minus 4 times 1 times 20 all over 2 times 1. Okay, so negative 9 plus or minus. Okay, let's do this. So 9 squared is, it's going to be the square root of 81, and then minus 4 times 20 is 80, minus 80 all over 2. And so then I'd say that that's negative 9. 81 minus 80 is 1, and the square root of 1 is just 1. So it's negative 9 plus or minus 1 divided by 2. So now what we'll do is let's figure out what our two roots are. So negative 9 plus 1 is negative 8 divided by 2, which is negative 4. And then negative 9 minus 1 is negative 10 divided by 2, which is negative 5. So our two intercepts are negative 4 and negative 5. And we could have done that, like I say, with the x box. But in this case, the quadratic formula gives us the answer. Okay, let's do this one. X is equal to negative b, so negative 5 plus or minus the square root of 5 squared minus 4 times 2 times negative 14 divided by 2a, so 2 times 2. Okay, let's get this going. So negative 5 plus or minus. 5 squared is 25. Now watch this. It's going to be, so it's going to be the square root of 25 minus, but then 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times negative 14 is negative 112. But look at the double negative there. So that means it's going to disappear. So you'll end up getting negative 5 plus or minus. It's going to be 25 minus a negative, or plus 112, is 137. And then the square root of 137 is 11.7 all over 4. Okay, so here we go. Let's do this. So let's do negative 5 plus 11.7 is 6.7 divided by 4 is 1.68. And then we'll do negative 5 minus 11.7, and that's negative 16.7 divided by 4 is negative 4.18. So there you go. So those are the two x-intercepts. And the only you couldn't use the x box for that one. You'd have to use the quadratic formula. Okay, this number 7 this is it says how many roots do each of these quadratics have? In other words, how many x-intercepts do they have? Well, I hope for A and C it's pretty easy, because do you agree with me that it's already in factored form? So I know that the x-intercept is what will make that bracket 0. So the x-intercept, well, I know for the first bracket, x-intercept of 2, because 2 minus 2 is 0. And for the second one, it's x equal to -3, because if I put an x of -3 in there, it's going to make that 0. So therefore, this one has 2 roots, or 2 x-intercepts. That was pretty easy. Okay, this one, look at this. What will make this bracket 0? Well, x equal to -3. And what will make this bracket 0? X equal to 2. So again, this one has 2 roots. So that was easy. Now, these two are a little bit harder because these two, they're not in the factored form. So I suppose you could fight through it and factor them, but there's an easier way. And the easier way is to calculate something called the discriminant. And the discriminant is just b squared minus 4ac. And if the discriminant is positive, we know that there are 2 roots. If the discriminant is 0, there's 1 root, and if it's negative, there are 0 roots. So that's a little quick way of doing it. So for this one, where the a is 3, the b is 3, and the c is -18, let's do the discriminant. So it's 3 squared minus 4 times 3 times -18. Okay, well, when I do that, I get 9 minus, and then 4 times 3 times -18 is -216. Well, 9 minus a negative means plus, so my discriminant is 225. Now, I don't really care what the actual number is. All I need to care about is it positive, 0, or negative. Well, it's positive, so I would say, therefore, it has that quadratic is going to have 2 roots. Okay, let's do this one. Here, my a is equal to 1, right there. My b is equal to -1, and my c is -6. Okay, let's do the discriminant. So it's -1 squared minus 4 times 1 times times -1. No, I apologize. Let me restart this, you guys. It's b squared, so that's -1 squared, and then minus 4 times 1 times -6. Okay, so here I would get 1, and then minus, and then 4, it would be minus 24, and so you get 25, and so again, therefore, this one has 2 roots. Okay? Yeah, there you go. All right, you guys. So this one is this review is typical of what you would expect to see on the last assignment. Congratulations on a great year. I hope you guys have learned some stuff, and look forward to seeing you next year. Take care now.